evening and welcome to India Today. We bring this bulletin to you with the big breaking news that's coming in right now. This is related to the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice of India. There was a petition in front of him about restoration of a Vishnu idol in Khajuraho. And it seems while dismissing the matter, the CJI made a remark. He said, "Go pray to Vishnu himself." Now, this has landed the Chief Justice of India in controversy and which has forced the Chief Justice to now issue a clarification. He has said that he respects all religion. This plea was filed in front of the Supreme Court and this was related to a 7-foot idol in Khajuraho of Vishnu which is beheaded, and it was said that it should be restored, and that's when the Supreme Court said this is not our jurisdiction, it is the jurisdiction of the ASI. Go there, and if you're such a bhakt of Vishnu, then pray to Vishnu. Let's listen to what other reactions that are coming in right now about this.
माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जिस प्रकार का ओरल ऑब्जर्वेशन किया, क्या भगवान से कहें कि वो स्वयं निर्माण करे? इसको किसी भी तरह से उचित नहीं कहा जा सकता। हम न्यायपालिका का सम्मान करते, लेकिन ये न्यायपालिका के हाथ में भी है कि वो अपना सम्मान स्वयं करवाए। जिस तरह की टिप्पणी उन्होंने हिंदू धर्म के बारे में की है कि देवता से कहें वो स्वयं निर्माण करें, क्या वो इस तरह की टिप्पणी किसी अन्य धर्म के अनुयायियों के सामने कर सकते हैं?
Now is India Today's Srishti Ojha. Srishti, it was while dismissing this petition that the CJI made this remark. Although he was making it clear that this is not our jurisdiction, but it was nevertheless a flippant remark. Maybe that's why now he has to issue a clarification.
Well, yes, as we know, the Chief Justice of India has recently come under serious criticism for a certain remark, an oral remark that was made by him regarding Vishnu idol case that he was handling. Today, while hearing a different matter, he has, however, again issued a small clarification, pointing out that that the statement that was made by him during that hearing has been portrayed in a certain way on social media. However, he has clarified that he respects.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We'll come back to you. We have the spokesperson of VHP, Vinod Bansal, joining us right now. Thank you, Mr. Bansal, for speaking with India Today. Now, the CJI is clearly saying that this was not meant to disrespect anyone. And, you know, many a times there are certain comments made within the court which get reported as well. What is your reaction to now him saying, clarifying that he respects all religions?
Definitely, you see, our chief of VHP, Advocate Sri Alok Kumar ji has clearly said in his tweet today that it is unfortunate that the voices are coming out of the courtroom, which are hurting the religious sentiments of the people of the country, and that too from the place which is most sacred place for the country. And we respect the judiciary and the part thereof. Everyone in the judiciary is the matter of respect for the entire country. That respect should remain in the mindset of the people of the country. But such type of remarks, whatever is coming out from the courtroom, are definitely, if it is hurting the sentiments of the people of the country.
Mr. Bansal, the CJI has also said that his comments have been portrayed in the wrong manner by the social media.
No, but you see, whatever being given in the social media, what I heard is that the same is being reported in the legal channels also. The Warren bench has clearly said that whatever the CJI said in the court manner. So that should be clarified that yes, these are not my words. And you see, the social media is the uncontrolled phenomenon of the country, and it is the public voice. One cannot ignore that voice, actually, no, sir, madam. The question is that everybody should respect the judiciary, and the judiciary should also respect the people of the country, the sentiment of the people of the country. This is the mutual consent and the mutual work which is to be done by the country and the judiciary. Because judiciary is the pillar of the constitution, the pillar of the democracy. So, मैं कहना चाहता हूँ कि हमारा जुडिशरी के अंदर अगाध विश्वास है, वो विश्वास बना है। इसके लिए judge भी और
Right, we
25 लोग
understand
तो-
the emotions that you are trying to convey. Thank you very much, Mr. Bansal, for speaking with India. And now there is a huge breaking news coming in right now. It seems that the United States of America may soon scrap penal tariff on India and cut down the reciprocal duty also to 10 to 15%. Now this is a huge news. Big statement has come from CEA. US may soon scrap penal tariff on India and cut down the reciprocal duty also. Remember, together, they were almost about 50% that was imposed on India, the penalty and the reciprocal tariff. The US may soon scrap the 25% penal tariff, which is imposed on Indian goods that are exported to the US, and may also lower the reciprocal tariff to 10 to 15% from the current 25%. Now, this is huge. Chief Economic Advisor to the government, V. Anantha Nageshwaran, has said this on Thursday. And remember, the chief negotiator of the US was also in India, and there have been positive signals towards restoration of the talks. So this is great news coming in right now. Let's listen to the reactions that are coming in right now.
Considering recent developments in the last couple of weeks and so on, I do believe, I have no particular basis to say so, I just my intuition that the penal tariff will not be there beyond November 30th. I mean, it's not a statement of based on any concrete indicator or evidence. It's my hope that given the recent developments which we see in terms of both countries finding an off-ramp and reaching out to each other, and including the important negotiator being in India in the first 2 days of this week, I do believe that there will be a resolution in the next couple of months on the penal tariff and hopefully on the reciprocal tariff also.
And Business Today's Karishma Sudani now joins us on this. Karishma, this is a big statement from the CEA.
It definitely is, and it comes in at a very crucial and important time where, as you had mentioned, chief negotiators of both the countries, Washington and Delhi, had their meeting just early this week in New Delhi, a meeting of 24 hours that has signaled some kind of positivity. Let's not forget that Dr. Nageshwaran was also the first one to actually speak with India today about 2 weeks ago, where he had commented on the remarks by President Donald Trump on that India's economy is not a dead economy, and rather we are one of the most important growing G20 nations. His affirmation of the fact that 25%...
Karishma, we will be coming back to you soon, but right now we need to wrap this up. And it's a huge news that's coming in right now. There may be a cut in the penalty and the reciprocal tariffs. Now let's go across to Sakshi Batra of Business Today. Over to you, Sakshi.
Good afternoon and welcome to Market Closing on our brand new collab show between Business Today and India Today Television. It's 3 p.m. and we are here to get you all the market closing action. First up, let's take a look at what's hot in the corporate and financial space. Stock markets welcome the US Federal Reserve's decision to cut interest rates. Both the Nifty and the Sensex are trading higher. Most of the sectoral indices are also in the positive terrain. Autos, infrastructure among those in the red. However, we've also seen gold and silver see slight profit booking after the recent rally. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's definitive message to the industry: do not hesitate in investing and expanding capacity. In an answer to a query by the chairman of Tata Sons, the Finance Minister has underlined the Prime Minister's commitment to reforms and ease of doing business. European Union's a big lesson to Donald Trump as it inches closer to a trade deal with India. EU says it has kept talks on sticky issues like agricultural aside. We've also looked at progress on other fronts. Crude oil deals with Russia also emerge as a big stumbling block. A new day and a new deadline for Noida Airport. Inauguration is now planned on 30th of October, but operations will only start in December of 2025. Minister says flights to 10 major cities in the first phase will be seen, but big focus on cargo operations as well. The country's largest car maker, Maruti Suzuki, has announced big price cuts across its entire range of vehicles. Largest savings due to GST rate cuts on the smallest cars will be seen. New prices are effective 22nd of September, the first day of Navratri. Let's straight away talk about the markets in the last half an hour of trade. Remember, viewers, we've inched higher at 25,433 now. A sharp spike has taken place over the last few minutes in trade, and this is largely on the back of news flows that you just heard and, saw the Chief Economic Advisor, Anant Nageshwaran, talking about that there is hope that the trade talks are on, and there is also hope that on the reciprocal tariff front, India could be hoping for sharp reduction on the front as well. And that's the first government reaction that we are actually looking at with respect to the tariffs front. And that's something that is really leading to this sharp momentum in the markets right now. Let's actually look at what's happening across the board. We have Pharma and the IT indices. Remember, these are the two export-oriented sectors that are actually hovering the highest in trade. You're actually looking at a 1.5% uptick on the Pharma index right now. And the IT index is holding about 0.8% up. Financial services, private banks, FMCG also up and about in trade. Even the broader markets, the mid-caps and the small-cap indices, they're up 0.3% higher in the move today as well. Autos and consumer durables have also seen some uptake. Of course, barring PSU banks, real estate, oil and gas, that's seen some slight profit taking in trade today. Rest of the sectors are all hovering higher. What else is taking up as far as the Nifty gainers are concerned? Look at an eternal HDFC Life, Sun Pharma, Infosys and Cipla. These are the top gainers on the Nifty right now, rising anywhere between 1 to 2.5% in trade. When we look at the top drags, however, you will see names like Coal India, Tata Motors, Trent, Bajaj Finance, Ultratech Cement and Bharat Electronics as among those that are still lagging behind in trade as well. But viewers, let's look at the big breaking at this hour. The United States of America may soon be scrapping the 25% penal tariff that has been imposed on Indian goods and also lower the reciprocal tariffs from 25% earlier to 10 to 15% as well. That's what the Chief Economic Advisor to the government, V. Anant Nageshwaran, has said today. Now, as New Delhi and Washington have continued their dialogues for the trade deal, Nageshwaran also expects that the tariff situation will be resolved in the next 8 to 10 weeks as well. Remember, the White House has imposed 50% tariff on Indian goods in August, of which it includes 25% of the punitive duty for India's high crude oil imports from Russia as well. What he's also said, and I'm quoting, is that my personal confidence is that in the next couple of months, if not earlier, we will see a resolution to at least to the extra penal tariff of 25%. Let's listen in to what Mr. V. Anant Nageshwaran had to say on the same.
Considering recent developments in the last couple of weeks and so on, I do believe, I have no particular basis to say so, I just my intuition that the penal tariff will not be there beyond November 30th. I mean, it's not a statement of based on any concrete indicator or evidence. It's my hope that given the recent developments which we see in terms of both countries finding an off-ramp and reaching out to each other, and including the important negotiator being in India in the first 2 days of this week, I do believe that there will be a resolution in the next couple of months on the penal tariff and hopefully on the reciprocal tariff also.
All right, Karishma Sudani also joins in to share more insights on the same. Karishma, this is big news that's coming in. Also a very big relief to the export-oriented sectors at large as well. I'm also looking at some of the stocks within the textile basket that have already started to rally. Names like VIP Clothing is already hovering higher in trade. So we will be looking at the reaction percolate, but this is definitely big news. Relief on the punitive 25% of a tariff and also reduction in the the reciprocal tariffs of 25% to now down to 10 to 15%. This is a huge breather, isn't it?
It absolutely is, Sakshi. And clearly, I think the air of confidence is coming in from the fact that both the chief negotiators have probably had a successful meeting, though we've heard officially that it was positive. There are various spectrums of positivity to this, and looks like chief economic advisor's comment is in the backdrop of this, which probably, of course, has been discussed between the Commerce and Finance Ministry. Doing away with the punitive tariffs of 25% and reducing the reciprocal tariffs from 25% is going to be very beneficial to us, especially for the sectors that you were talking about, Sakshi, because it kind of brings us back on the top. Right now, we were hovering on a seesaw scale with Brazil, but and due to that, we were losing, in fact, a lot to other Southeast Asian countries like that of Vietnam, Thailand, when it comes to our textile exports. But this will pay a positive growth path, especially with the fact that US and India are also looking to close down their bilateral trade deal by end of November.
Absolutely. Let's straight away now welcome our guest on board. Mr. Deven Choksey, the MD of Choksey FinServ Private Limited, is now joining in to share insights on that front. Deven sir, warm welcome. Good afternoon to you. Well, this is big news that's actually coming in. Also as a big relief that the Chief Economic Advisor has mentioned that there is hope that one, the tariff deadlock that we were seeing up until thus far is likely to get resolved over the next 8 to 10 odd weeks. What he's also mentioned is that a complete let go of the punitive 25% tariff is what he's hoping for. Also hoping for the premier reciprocal tariffs to come down to 10 to 15%. That will now put us in par or at par with all the Southeast Asian countries that were now standing to benefit against the 50% tariffs that we were imposed with.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Sakshi. Well, finally the wisdom prevails, as I would like to say. We have been talking about this subject, right? Because if you are increasing the tariff, ultimately you are harming US consumers more than anybody else. And you are harming the US economy by way of significantly increasing the inflation, which is possibly, I think, creating a dastardly effect as far as I think the economic outlook and situation is concerned. So in my viewpoint, I think if they have taken this particular decision to roll back, or they are taking the decision to roll back the punitive tariffs and restore it back to, I think, whatever the numbers that you guys are talking about, I would think that it will be only rational and it will probably help them recover faster as far as their economic condition is concerned. Probably, I think countries like India has nothing to lose, even if I think they impose 50% tariff. By and large, I think that is understood by all of us.
Absolutely. Deven sir, do you think this could have been an outcome of the one-day meeting that the chief negotiators had between both the countries, and now we could be looking at talks to resume ASAP to put a final number now, and therefore all the uncertainty that has been shrouding the markets for months now should be now put on the back burner, and will that spell great news for the Indian stock markets that have been dealing with a lot of volatility?
Yes, I think for stock market, that's a great news for two reasons. On one side, US rate cut has happened, 25 basis point, first time in this year. What it is signaling is the higher amount of flow of money from debt to equity, and particularly emerging market equity. If that diversion of fund takes place and India is a choice for most of the investors, stroke traders, I would think that I think this is going to be a positive move or positive reflection on the economy. On the other side, I think if the currency goes appreciate, I think from 88.5 to 85.5 in a course of time because of this move, probably I think this is again a sign that yes, Indian stock market will have to cheer about. Of course, I think this tariff-related decision, and then when they take, I think these two conditions will definitely help investors to bring money back into the country. So we relatively remain optimistic about the prospects going forward, and the flow of money which could come into India markets eventually, maybe in 2026.
Absolutely. Mr. Choksey, help us understand now. On the Nifty, we are already on an upward trajectory. After a long haul of consolidation, we are back above the 25,400 odd mark. Last couple of sessions have definitely been good for the Indian stock markets. The Nifty is now eyeing, once again, its erstwhile highs of above 26,200 as well. What is the chance that you are penciling in that in case this tariff talk, as what is being expected now, given that what the CEA has said on the tariff front, if this comes to focus and if this gets published as well, how are you looking at the impact on the markets? Do you see the Nifty scaling all-time highs once again very soon now?
So the tailwind for India market is remaining absolutely strong and convincing. On one side, money has been left in hands of consumers by way of direct tax exemption limit increased to 12 lakh, by way of giving GST-related benefits to the consumer and consumer industries, by way of lowering of the inflation and lowering of the interest rate thereafter, and possibility of the rupee appreciating back to 85, 85.5. I think these are all some of the strong tailwinds which suggest that the corporate sector would eventually have a better performance in the second half of the financial year. If the earnings starts looking up in the second half of the financial year, my take is that I think the markets will smartly look up in the following months.
Okay, fair point. I'll come to that as well and also ask you, Mr. Choksey, to help our viewers identify the right kind of sectors down to see as opportunities after the tailwinds are now pouring in well into focus into the Indian markets. But let's first listen into what Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had to say, especially when she sent out a strong message to corporate India, responding to Tata Sons Chairman Mr. N. Chandrasekaran. She has actually said the government has already delivered on the long pending industry demands from easing business rules to opening up of the FDI. The finance minister has urged the companies to expand capacity, to invest more in India and make it clear that the ball is now in industry's court. Let's listen in.
I think today I have a basket of things on which government has delivered. So the question which remains unanswered, which is the answer I should actually be giving here, is I hope there's no more hesitation for industry to invest further, to expand capacities, produce more in India. And what else is required by the government to do? Spell them out. You have a prime minister in this country who you have known for decades, from his days as Chief Minister of Gujarat. And he has never relented on reforms, nor has he ignored the wish list of the industry.
If you could spell out for us, on the back of these tailwinds of appropriate tariffs that could be now big on, sir.
Discretionary consumer spending is going to be rising, and they are connected with auto ancillary, real estate and real estate related support industries, as you call it them as. Also the financial companies, NBFCs and the banks, particularly I think who are basically getting the benefit of lower liability side cost and at the same time higher amount of offtake in the AUM due to the borrower's need. So in my viewpoint, I think the consumption is going to be the driving theme from here on. Infrastructure continues to be a most capital intensive business, of course, but at the same time continues to attract significantly large amount of investment from major players, be it Reliance, be it Adani's, be it Tata's, or for that matter others. I believe that I think infrastructure will continue to spend more amount of money, and that's where power utilities, engineering goods and services along with could be the choice of sectors that one could possibly ask for.
Fantastic. Hold that thought there, sir. Since you're talking about the consumption theme, the one sector that has clearly stood out as a winner after the GST rationalization news was out on 15th of August, and from that time we've actually seen up to 20% of a rally on a lot of stocks. Maruti Suzuki, the largest car maker in India, the stock has hit a record high level in trade today, and that's also on the back of the company announcing big price cuts across its entire range beginning 22nd of September. The biggest savings are on the small smallest cars by Maruti, the Espresso, the Brezza, the Fronx, the Alto as well. The company has also said that 10% GST rate cut to 18%. So basically, the 10% saving is what they're going to be looking at, and how that is really translating to 8.5% kind of a price cut on the car prices as well. I'm also now joined by Business Today's Chetan Bhutani to share more on that front as well. Chetan, a list of all the cars and how their prices are going to be slashed starting 22nd of September is with you. Help us understand, for the Aam Aadmi, are they going to be winning big this time around in the festive season, and do they have a lot of opportunities to buy these small cars from Maruti now?
Well, Sakshi, you clearly pointed out the clear winner is, of course, the entry-level car segment. And we hear because Maruti Suzuki is India's largest car manufacturer. And, of course, they have a lot of variants already operating into the market. But, yes, Maruti Suzuki, and, of course, in the entire auto industry, we've been seeing the small car segment really declining and registering a degrowth. But now we are expecting a 10% growth year-on-year for the small car segment. If I can break down for our viewers what really and how Maruti Suzuki's rate cuts impact the small car segment. In fact, Maruti Suzuki has gone beyond the GST rate cuts and given festive bonanzas, because if you see on a small car like an Espresso, the company has given a rate cut of about 12% to 24 odd percent. In the Alto K10 range, we expect the cut to be between 10 to 20 odd percent. Celerio between 8.5 to 17%, WagonR between 8.5 to 14 odd percent. So it's really a double festive bonanza from Maruti Suzuki to the consumers, because the company is offering discounts, a heavy discount, except for the tax cut as well, moving beyond the tax cut. So really a big bonanza coming up for small car segment as well.
Absolutely. Price cuts of almost 1,30,000 up to that level is going to be seen as far as some of those cars are concerned. We'll definitely come to Mr. Choksey to understand which are the car companies and the auto companies that you should be keeping on your radar in case you're investing in this theme right ahead of the festive season as well. But actually, let's also focus on the European Union and what they have said as far as, keeping aside the controversial issues like agri and automobiles is concerned, while advancing their trade talks with India as well, in an approach which actually seems in stark contrast to the US. The EU has actually said that the talks are progressing on the other issues as well.
I would say the agriculture parts, again, it was, I think, first meeting I had with my friend and esteemed colleague Piyush Goyal, that simply some of the sensitive products for the both sides we just leave aside if we want to make a progress, and we know which they are. I think we agreed upon them early on. Therefore I was really hopeful that with all this understanding we could close agriculture chapter ordered last week. Unfortunately, it was not possible. We'll have another try, but we also need the understanding from Indian side that we also have our constituency, we also have our audience, and I have to bring the agreement to the member states, European Parliament, and my colleagues in the college who would support it.
All right, let's go back to our conversation with Mr. Choksey. A lot of points to be really discussing with him. Mr. Choksey, first up, the auto space from the consumption-oriented basket is what I want to begin with. Maruti has already hit a record high level. It's been up, about 4 to 5 odd % in the last couple of sessions alone. We're also seeing not just the frontline OEM players, but also auto ancillaries at large, tractor majors across the board. We've been seeing a lot of buoyancy on the back of just GST rationalization and what that could do to the upcoming festive demand. How are you playing up this theme right ahead of the festive season, sir? Is there a priority list, a pecking order of choice of stocks that you have, sir?
Two companies which remain definitely in the top of the list in the priority. One in two-wheeler, one in four-wheeler, and that would include Bajaj Auto and Tata Motors. Both these companies have a business plan, I think, which we have understood that they are rolling out. New models, electric vehicle presence, bringing down the cost, adapting to the localization story with the strength.
Okay, so auto space is clearly going to be in focus. Apart from the auto space, let me also understand from you, given the kind of cuts that will be spelling, more spirits into the Indian stock markets, within the consumption basket, how are you looking at consumer durables, for instance? How are you looking at FMCG, maybe even e-commerce players that will be, the choice of marketplace for a lot of people to go ahead and buy this festive season and take the benefit of price cuts, sir?
So consumer actions will validate this particular reduction in the price due to GST. And that's what I think one is looking out for in October to December quarter, where the major amount of festive season events are lying ahead. In my viewpoint, starting Navratri next week, I think onwards thereafter, to the entire season till December, will probably, I think, validate the entire rate reduction, price reduction, whatever you call it as, I think, and the benefit coming to the companies. We are cautiously optimistic about the situation going forward and believe that I think some of the large consumer companies which are having a better product portfolio in respective categories are up for, I think, significantly large amount of growth, aided by the lower cost of funds, of course, I think, which is definitely helping. So let's wait and see. I think the growth definitely, I think, is to be more than the previous 6 months in the second half of the financial year.
Okay. I also wanted to ask you, Mr. Choksey, a lot of our viewers and a lot of investors must be looking to understand what next for the Indian markets after a long haul of underperformance vis-a-vis the other asset classes like gold and silver for that matter. Finally, when the things are falling in the right place, is this the right time to double down investments onto the Indian stock markets? Should one put all the cash that's in hands to and deploy that into the markets at this point in time? And what is the best way to approach it? We've already seen a lot of recovery take place in the markets, and in case we are on the way to hit all-time high levels, what's the best way to play this rally from here onwards?
I would think that I think systematic investment on a monthly basis or a periodical basis is the right approach for investors, be it in any asset class, mutual fund or equity directly. I think one should be adopting a system.
High point of the day. After having seen some profits taken off, the markets again pulled up just on the back of news flows that tariff talks could soon resume and could conclude in the next 8 to 10 weeks. We are also given to understand that the punitive 25% tariff, the additional 25% tariffs that were imposed on us may be removed completely, and those that were primarily put at 25% may be brought down to 10 to 15% as well. And that is definitely a big news and, big push that the bulls have been looking forward to as well. Let's quickly wrap up. So the Nifty's ended higher by 0.3%. The Nifty Bank is also up by about 0.4%. This has been the index that's up and running for the 12th straight session today and has crossed over the 55,700 mark in today's trade. The broader markets also end with 0.3% of a move on the higher side. All the sectors barring real estate and PSU banks and media stocks, they continue to end with gains. Pharma index up by 1.5%, the top moving sector in trade today. IT index follows next with 0.8% of a move. You also had private banks, financial services that were inching higher in trade. Top movers today have been Eternal, the parent company of Zomato, almost 3% of an uptick. From the life insurance basket, HDFC Life up by 2%. Sun Pharma, Infosys, Cipla, even IT and pharma companies definitely supporting the move. On the downside, however, you had names like Coal India, Bajaj Finance, Trent, Tata Motors and Ultratech Cement. So that's as how the markets have shut shop in trade today. But there's also some good news for people in Delhi NCR. The countdown has begun for India's newest aviation hub. The international airport at Jewar in Uttar Pradesh will be inaugurated on October 30th with commercial operations expected to start within 45 days. Civil Aviation Minister Mr. Naidu has said the first phase will connect the airport to 10 key Indian cities, promising major relief to Delhi Airport and boosting regional as well as the national connectivity as well. Let's listen in.
Noida Airport also, we are trying to push up the inauguration of the airport so that we can see it happen very soon. And right now, the date that we have decided is 30th of October. 30th of October to do the inauguration, and within 45 days from that date, we can see the operations also start.
So how many flights will be taking off?
So right now, the plan, I don't know the exact plan, but the airlines are very much excited to operate from Jewar Airport also. They feel that there is a huge potential from that area. So I can foresee that at least 10 cities will be connected in the first phase from Jewar Airport, seeing the discussions that are happening with the airlines. And we see it as a strategic, more than the civil aviation connectivity, we see it as a good cargo connectivity airport. So we see a lot of cargo operations.
All right, viewers, so all eyes on the Jewar Airport. October 30th is when it opens and commercial operations begin in December of 2025. That's a wrap on Business Today's show, but do tune in tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. when Abha Bakaya brings you all the morning market action. Stay tuned.
And remember, Donald Trump wanted this rate cut, and it's the first one in 9 months. It was an 11-1 vote, with the sole dissenter seeking a 50 basis point cut. Importantly, there are indications that the rates may be cut by another 0.5% by the end of this year. The Fed chairman also raised some red flags. Let's listen in.
In the near term, risks to inflation are tilted to the upside and risks to employment to the downside. A challenging situation.